Good Tuesday morning. It's 6 o'clock. Welcome to Montana This Morning. I'm Victoria Hill. Thank you so much for starting your day with us. And good morning to our friend Miller over in the Weather Center. And you kept your promise. It's warming up.
It is warming up. Let me give you a number. What does the number 198 mean to you?
I don't know, but 101 means Dalmatians to me. I can tell you that much.
I don't know where to go after that. I just had this whole spiel lined up. No. Good movie, by the way. 198 hours of below zero weather here in Billings. We finally got to the zero mark at 10:30 yesterday morning, and we're only getting warmer. Our high yesterday got up to about 8, which is well below average, but you're starting to see the warming trend. You can see there are high of 8. We woke up to -7 below. Definitely well below average where we should be for this time of the season. No records indicating that we had any snowfall yesterday, but we do have some snow out there right now. In fact, as we take a live look here at Billings, you can see some light dusting out there with the snow, at least some flurries going on, and we can still see that as we go along this morning and maybe later on this afternoon. We've warmed up just a bit. We're at 10 at the airport, but it feels like 2. Winds out of the north at about 5 miles an hour. Here's your day planner. How are we going to get up to about 23 for our high today? Well, slowly but surely we'll warm up. It's going to be cloudy out there, and there's that chance of seeing some snow maybe later on this evening as we have another little blast of energy coming into the area. But the good news is we are warming up, getting above freezing maybe as early as Friday. Not so good down in New Orleans. It's Mardi Gras, but they've shut down Bourbon Street. What?
Barricaded off, and and it went to a commercial. Of course, drink almond breeze, everyone.
Nothing says Mardi Gras like a good old blast.
It ruined so much. I'm putting the lotion on my hands, and now it put it into almond breeze. But yeah, so all the bars on Bourbon Street are closed, and Bourbon Street itself is blocked off.
That is crazy.
And so there won't be any celebration going on there.
Well, it's that Arctic air that's, we felt the brunt of it. Now it's down south. In fact, just look at this. I just throw this up there if we can. Hard freeze warning in effect right now for New Orleans this morning. Their normal high of 66, their record low of 43 back in 1968. Victoria, they have a chance to break that today.
That's got to be cold for them. Very, very cold. And I know usually people take the opportunity to do a little celebrating on today, also known as Fat Tuesday, and then they give up something for the Lent season. And so that's something else we have to look forward to.
I'm giving up almond breeze.
Almond breeze. Give up the milk, almond breeze. Yeah, that's a whole nother argument. All right, I'm going to get on to the news, Miller. Thank you. Our top story this Tuesday, spots are filling up fast as Yellowstone County begins its largest vaccination effort today with a 3-day clinic at Metro Park. At last check this morning, just over 300 appointments were still available on Thursday. Almost 40 healthcare workers from both the Billings Clinic and St. Vincent Healthcare will administer over 2,200 shots at Cedar Hall. In the coming weeks, the goal is to have Riverstone Health join to centralize all of the county's vaccine efforts at the same location. Officials say they can provide over 8,000 shots per week at Cedar Hall once the supply matches the demand. If you fall into either phase 1A or 1B, you can register for an appointment at mtreadyclinic.org. Nearly 5% of Montanans have been fully vaccinated since mid-December. MTN's John Riley takes a closer look at the state's efforts and how Montana stacks up against the rest of the country.
180,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine have been administered in Montana as of Monday, with more than 52,000 people in the state now fully vaccinated. Although a big rural state, by comparison, Montana is performing better than most states for vaccination efforts. As of February 14th, 4.9% of Montanans have been fully vaccinated, with the state ranking 16th among all states for full vaccination. Neighboring states of North and South Dakota have a larger percent of their population vaccinated at 6.2% and 5.7%, and are currently ranked 3rd and 5th for vaccination by population. Idaho is ranked 48th in the nation for full vaccinated population at just 3.2%. The CDC hasn't released what percentage of the population needs to be vaccinated to reach herd immunity, but Dr. Anthony Fauci has estimated it at around 70 to 85%. According to state and local officials, the biggest challenge for Montana's performance right now is the state's federal vaccine allocation.
Despite the great progress we're making, we aren't receiving adequate doses from the federal government. Unfortunately, Montana continues to receive one of the lowest allotments of doses per capita in the country.
Montana ranks 45th among states in terms of vaccines allocated per capita by the federal government. The state first began releasing COVID vaccination data on January 19th. The total number of doses given has slowly increased over the past month, sitting at around 40,000 doses administered over the past week. State and local healthcare experts say Montana could realistically be administering at least twice to 3 times the number of doses were they available. Governor Gianforte has called upon President Biden multiple times to increase the number of doses the state receives each week. However, just about every other governor in the nation is making similar requests. Johnson & Johnson has asked the FDA for emergency use authorization of their single-shot vaccine and is expected to receive approval by the end of February. While the single shot will greatly increase the number of individuals vaccinated, data from the company has indicated it's 66% effective, notably less than that of the Moderna and Pfizer 2-dose vaccines. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Here in Yellowstone County, more than 30,000 doses have been administered and more than 10,000 people are fully immunized. President Joe Biden will weigh in on the pandemic and his administration's response to it tonight in a televised town hall from Milwaukee. He said last week his administration purchased enough vaccine doses for 300 million Americans by the end of July. Nearly 40 million Americans have had at least one COVID-19 vaccine shot, and more than 14 million have had both doses. Many cities are now prioritizing school teachers as the president pushes to get kids back to in-person learning. Meanwhile, vaccine makers are getting to work tweaking ingredients to account for virus variants. Regulators are looking to the flu as a blueprint for the changes. Health experts say viruses mutate constantly, but it takes the right combination of changes to totally escape a vaccine. As of right now, research has shown COVID vaccines may not work as well against a variant from South Africa, but it's not completely ineffective. Scientists say the good news is many of the COVID-19 vaccines are made with new technology that's easier to upgrade than other vaccines. In the latest federal COVID-19 aid package approved by Congress, Montana has up to $200 million to assist people having trouble paying their rent or heating bills. But state lawmakers have authorized the spending of only $17 million of it so far. MTN's Mike Dennison tells us what's being done with the rest of the money.
At a meeting of lawmakers Monday, state commerce officials said they're estimating that $44 million in this federal aid could be distributed to as many as 8,000 Montana households through the end of June. And there remains an additional $150 million available if the need is there. That money is meant for people who have been unemployed or underemployed because of COVID-19 and are unable to pay rent or heating bills. Cheryl Cohen of the State Housing Division said it's estimating that between 10,000 and 30,000 Montanans could fall into this predicament. And she says there may be 10,000 potential evictions when a March 31st eviction moratorium ends. Cohen said the state hopes to leave no stone unturned in its efforts to promote the program. State Senator Mike Lang, a Republican from Malta, said he hopes the state is making it easier for people to apply in all areas of the state, electronically and by telephone.
There's a lot of stones in eastern Montana that maybe need to be turned over, so please make sure those people understand it.
Both tenants and landlords can apply for the money. Yet, while the state is gearing up to launch its program to distribute this assistance, so far the legislature has authorized only $17 million to be spent. Some lawmakers at Monday's meeting said there's ways to add money into the budget, but took no immediate action. Still, anyone who thinks they might be eligible for the program can find out more at emergencyrental-assistance.mt.gov or call the state at 406-841-2840. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
The program is set to begin as soon as Governor Gianforte signs a bill authorizing the first $17 million. In the Montana House, a new bill would prevent local governments from requiring a certain amount of affordable housing in their respective cities. Both Whitefish and Bozeman have implemented what's called inclusionary zoning. The law requires new developments to include a specific percentage of homes for low or moderate income buyers. The proposed House bill would block that law. Supporters say they believe there's a need for affordable housing in Montana, but argue inclusionary zoning discourages new construction.
It doesn't deny a tool to address affordable housing. It takes away a weapon that has been proven damaging across the country and in those few locations that have already attempted to use it here in Montana.
Opponents of the bill say they believe local elected officials are the most qualified to address affordable housing in their communities. All but 2 House Republicans voted for the bill, while all Democrats opposed it. In other news, an avalanche near Big Sky has claimed the life of a Bozeman Elementary School principal. It happened Sunday afternoon in the Beehive Basin. Whittier Elementary principal Craig Kiddo and a friend were on split boards when the avalanche broke. The snowslide carried Kiddo about 100 yards, where he hit a tree and was partially buried. He was flown to a hospital where he later died. And in lighter news, before we take a break, there's a famous saying in New Orleans, let the good times roll. Mardi Gras starts today, but because of a pandemic, parades won't be rolling this year. Now, as reporter Maya Rodriguez shows us, thousands of people across the city found a way to come together for a new Mardi Gras tradition.
These days, the streets of New Orleans are alive, with homes transformed
I'll decorate my house.
into Mardi Gras floats.
So I'll go start a Facebook group.
And with that, an idea born out of coronavirus restrictions went, well, viral.
I am the fool who opened my mouth on the internet.
Megan Boudreau, nicknamed Admiral B, commands the fleet of more than 3,000 decorated homes, part of the new Mardi Gras crew of house floats. With parades canceled in New Orleans, instead of floats going by spectators, people can go by these homes turned floats instead.
So overwhelming, like I can't even keep track because there's a new favorite one every day.
Like the Little Shop of 2020 Horrors, a literal dumpster fire, complete with a murder hornet and toilet paper shortage.
We've been like to the grind.
Renee and Inez Pierre, owners of
Crescent City Artists did my float.
thought their days of creating parade floats were over.
And we were like, okay, we're done.
But then the crew of house floats rolled into their lives.
The phone, bing. Then the website is bing, 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 bing.
Yep, I had to hire staff. I went from just me in a backyard to hiring 6 people.
65 house floats later, they're thrilled their business didn't just survive, it thrived. They're even booked to create house floats next year.
This was definitely the turnaround we needed.
Everybody was looking for a little joy.
In uptown New Orleans, Serena Tang wanted to dedicate her home to local celebrity and bounce music recording artist Big Frida.
And I reached out to one of the local Mardi Gras artists and I was like, do you think you could make me a big Frida? And then I just blinged her out, bedazzled her, and put some eyelashes on her and a crown, because every queen needs her crown.
Now, the Queen of Bounce House is welcoming visitors from all over, including Eric Morgan, who drove in from Atlanta just to see it.
Oh my God, you already know. I love her. Yeah, this is one. I had to come see this. This is the #1 house to come see.
It's been wonderful. People drive by, they're waving, they're smiling, they're honking.
And just like in carnival season where you can see float parades during both the day and the night, the crew of house floats is doing the same thing.
A magical experience even after the sun sets.
We got hit so hard with COVID and people just needed some joy.
Finding light in the darkest of times with a new Mardi Gras tradition. In New Orleans, I'm Maya Rodriguez.